Teaching finances starts in the home. And depending on where you are, my wife and I are in the process of building financial freedom. But in doing so, and what we are realizing in this journey that we are going along, is that if we do a couple things now, and that is saving, investing for our children in a custodial account for them from the day that they were born, we are going to, one, give them the opportunity to have a decent amount of money by the time they are about 20 to 25 years old, depending on when we hand over this account to them. The second thing that we realize is that in doing so and giving them and preparing to give them a large sum of money, and when I say a large sum of money, to us that's about $100,000, somewhere around 20 to 25 years old, the way that we are investing right now for our children, and that is specifically for our children. The other concern that we have is that yes, the money is going to be there, the account is going to be there, but are they going to be there mentally prepared in order to take over that money and do right by that money, whether that be go to college, come out of college without any student loans? Is that mean purchasing a home and having that money be a down payment for a home? Is that starting a business and being able to take that money to give them a successful migration to running a successful business? These are all options that are being discussed, but as parents, we want to make sure that our children are mentally prepared in order to take that baton and continue running forward. And so today I want to talk to you about 4 things that I believe it is very important that we do as parents in order to prepare our children to be successful with any kind of money, whether it be a small amounts of money, whether it be growing finances to becoming financially freedom, and or if you're a parent that has the opportunity to give them a large sum of money, make sure that they do right by that large sum of money so that they can continue living a prosperous life and, carrying that baton and hopefully passing that baton on to future generations in a very positive manner. But there is 4 things that I believe we need to agree on before we can continue this conversation in any more depth. The first one is financial education coming from the parent at a very young age is the most crucial part of this whole conversation. I believe that the parent has the responsibility to teach the child the ins and outs, the positives, the negatives, the obstacles that they have faced in order to be successful with money. And the younger you do this, the easier it is. And so that doesn't mean if your child's already a teenager. Hell, if your child is already in their 20s or 30s, it is not too late. However, I believe that because the older they get, they begin to start having their own understanding, their own experiences. And so it's going to be a lot harder to break some of these discussions or some of these obstacles that they have because they might believe a little bit different than what you are trying to share and trying to teach them. The next thing that I believe is that one generation is going to have to sacrifice, especially if you're coming from, let's just say, middle class and below. If you don't have the finances to just throw $500,000 into an investment account, hell, even $100,000 into an investment account on day one, you are going to be building wealth together. And nothing is wrong with that. But what I have learned in our process, my wife and I have learned in our process of building financial freedom, is that it takes a couple years, depending on where you are in paying off debt, depending on where you are in building that investment account. It's going to take some years to sacrifice. And that means, giving up on some things. And I'll go into a little bit more detail with that when I touch on this specific topic. But somebody's going to have to sacrifice so that the remaining generations do not no longer have to do that. But I need those remaining generations and those generations that come after to understand the sacrifice that was done. And therefore, they also have a part in this in order to understand that they need to continue this legacy journey that has already been started. Leading by example. So parents, as the parents, you are already looked at, especially if your children are younger, as this superhero. And so the parents have to set a role model. They have to set the example as to how to where am I trying to go with this? Where I'm trying to go with this is that the example that you have to set has to be one that shows overcoming, shows discipline, shows that you are an adult and you follow a plan. You don't do what feels good. And so if you already have this issue internally, it's going to be very hard for you to set and show that example if you have your own problems with money. And so this is going to take some true looking into yourself and asking yourself where you are at financially and what you need to fix and repair before you can start teaching your young children. And finally, this is what I truly believe is that a child left unprepared is far worse than a child left nothing. And I'm really going to get into that once I get going on this PowerPoint. So with that being said, again, my name is Aaron Davis. This is going to be a great conversation. Every single month I talk about 4 different topics, whether it be ETF, brokerage accounts, crypto investing, retirement accounts, and then custodial accounts. I have one child here, and then we have another one that is due within 60 days from this video being dropped. So we are very excited, and this is a major concern of mine because I am doing a lot of investing for our children. I am sacrificing a lot right now, and heaven forbid I do all of this work over these next 5 to 10 years, and my children aren't prepared to keep on running with that baton. Is something that truly scares me, and I'm trying to think outside of the box and think about these issues prior to them coming so that I can prepare myself and my children to be successful with money. So let's talk about this, and please hit that bell notification for any future videos that we put out or that I put out regarding any of those topics. A child left unprepared is worse than a child left nothing. I wanted to start with this one, even though this was the last one out of that list of 4. And the reason that I wanted to start with this one, and I kind of went into it just a little bit prior to, is that I believe it is so misguided or misunderstood to give your children so much yet don't prepare them. Again, for a person that sacrifices for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, a working class individual to accumulate real estate, accumulate a stock portfolio, due to going to work every single day, due to missing out on cars, vacation, housing, to pass that on to your children when you move on from this earth, and then in the next 5 to 10 years, your children lose all of that money due to the inexperience of managing large sums of money. That is what I'm trying to prevent. And so the lessons, the experiences need to be shared with your children as to what you have overcome, the obstacles that you did to pay off debt, the lifestyle that you went through, the reduction in your lifestyle, the missing out on vacations, the driving the cars that were a little bit banged up in order to have that little extra money to save on a monthly basis, the missed out on vacations. Friends going out on a summer break vacation and a winter vacation while you and your household, takes a weekend trips or hell, doesn't even go on a vacation that year, so that then you can put a little bit of extra money into that investment account. And then you times that by the multiple years after years after years to produce this asset, whether, again, it be real estate or a stock portfolio, and your children don't understand that. So it is very important that you share with your children the experiences that you went through in order to build what you have built. And if they are young, they get to witness that firsthand, but it needs to be brought up in conversation. I think so many households do not have the discussion on finances, and the children are left to figure this stuff out on their own. That is one thing that I want to change in my household. As I discuss with you, I'm trying to build some habits right now. Every single week I'm discussing with you some type of topic. Like I said, the ETF, the crypto, retirement, or custodial account. But inside my own home, in the privacy of my own home, I want to do this with my children. Now, my children, my son is only 18 months as of right now. And my daughter is not born as of yet. So I still have a little bit of years to go before they fully understand. And it's going to be age-appropriate conversations. But I want to, in the way that I interact and discuss with you all on YouTube, I'm going to be doing that inside my home so that as these years come about and as they grow month over month, they have these conversations with their parents and have these discussions. So this is going to be the first thing that I think every parent needs to solve, and that is preparing your child to take over whatever inheritance you are looking to pass on to them as well as any type of money you prepare to give them while you are still alive, to help them move forward in their life. This is the next one that I brought up in that list of four, and that is leading by example is the best evidence for children to believe. And so, again, I always tie things. Starting this YouTube channel was monumental for me for a couple of reasons. I was going to say three, but I don't know if it's really three. The first one is I wanted to document this process of going from nothing to financial freedom, and I wanted to share this experience with others as I went along this process to give others just the opportunity to be able to see. But then also I wanted to share this so that my children, once they get an age, I wanted this to be another tool that I could show them that building wealth is not a 3-month gig, a 6-month gig, hell, a 2-year gig. This is discipline over multiple years. And so this is what it looks like. And so doing these videos on a weekly basis, and hopefully by the time they're 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever the case may be, there's going to be hundreds of videos that they can see and see the progression that occurs, month over month over month. I want to show them, which is one of the big things that I personally got myself in a little bit of trouble, but I want to show them how to celebrate financially, responsibly, how to hit a milestone, how to take some of that money and enjoy it, celebrate it, and then get back to work and keep on going. But all of these things are very important, and as the parent, you have to be able to set the example. And so if you as the parent, have the debt, believe that, you should have everything you want, don't save for it, don't invest for it, you aren't really providing your child a platform or a game plan in order to be successful for money. So this is where there's going to have to be some inner calculation, inner thought, and ask yourself, how are you doing, and could you be an example for your children? The way that you live, is that how you would want your children to live? Are you paycheck to paycheck? Are you constantly putting things on or constantly having all these payments and not being able to make ends meet in other areas of your life? Is that truly an example that you want to live or share with your children? Or do you need to clean your finances up as a household to begin to be a better example for how your children would want to live? So, and then finally, and I kind of said this at some point already, I remember, is depending on the age of your children, you want to just have age-appropriate lessons, age-appropriate conversations. Your 2-year-old child isn't going to have the same conversation as a 10-year-old child, as a 15-year-old child who possibly has a weekend job. All of those conversations are a little bit different. But again, as long as you are sharing, and long as they are understanding and growing with this knowledge through the years, it is all important, and it is very important for their success with money in the future. All right, so one generation will sacrifice, the rest will only have to sacrifice. The rest will only have to learn about the sacrifices that were made. So I'm going to only speak on my specific example. We are building our wealth. We don't have a large pot of money anywhere. And so we have to start with, $100 a month for our custodial account for our children. We're doing $3,000 a month for our ETF portfolio. We're doing $500 each for our retirement. So we are putting a large amount of money into our retirement or into an umbrella of portfolios, but that requires some type of sacrifice. We really aren't going on any vacations right now. The cars we drive, my wife has a nice car, a newer car. I drive a 1999 pickup truck because it allows me, because I don't have a payment and everything's cheap on that car, it allows me to take that extra money and put towards investing. We don't have really any payments as of right now outside of our mortgage and just kind of the daily, monthly things. So because of that decision making and whatnot, that allows us to put all that extra money towards these investing accounts. However, 3-4 years ago, that wasn't the case. And so who is going to make the sacrifices to miss out on the vacations, miss out on driving the nice cars at the beginning, miss out on, just having an overall nicer kind of lifestyle, if that financial bucket isn't built? And a generation has to do that. And when I say a generation, I don't mean a generation in its total lifespan, but I mean a generation that is going to sacrifice, somewhere between 5 to 7 years. And I think it truly depends on how much debt you're really in and getting out of that debt. Student loans, car payments. I'm not really talking about a mortgage unless that mortgage is really, lopsided and taking up a large amount of your income on a monthly basis. But I'm talking all the consumer kind of credit card debt or consumer type of debt. And then I'm also kind of speaking on the process of getting that snowball effect going on building that investment account. I think that before that investing account can really start kind of taking a life of its own, it got to get somewhere over, $100,000 to $200,000. So depending on your income, how long is it going to take to get to $100,000, $200,000? And so that is the sacrifice, and that is the time span that a generation has to go through. And I need future generations to understand that, which again leads me, for me specifically, again to this YouTube channel and the conversations that I'm having. I want my children to be able to see the conversations and what I was thinking about back when they were 18 months old, back when they were first born, back when they were 2 years old, to see that I was thinking about this well ahead of them being 10 and 15 and being able to benefit from the hard work. I want them to see the dedication. I want them to see the responsibility as a parent has in order to make the lives of their children a lot easier. And I want them to understand, because again, they don't need to go through the same sacrifices I went through, but they need to understand what their mother and father, what their grandparents did in order to make that lifestyle a lot better. So that's where I say one generation will sacrifice, and the remaining generations just have to understand and learn the sacrifices that were made. What else do I have here? Who's starting the family trust? So one big thing that we are doing is we are starting a family trust, and once we pass away, our ETF brokerage account is going to be I don't know the proper terminology, but basically the ETF brokerage account goes into the trust, and our children can begin living off of the dividends off of that ETF trust. Now, if we were to pass away today or tomorrow, that ETF or that trust wouldn't be a lot of money. Well, no, yes, it would be a life insurance, but neither here nor there. But as we get older, and the trajectory that this ETF brokerage account is on, it's going to be millions of dollars, and those dividends from that brokerage account are going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that is going to be the money that our children can live off of, in addition to whatever work they do and whatever other things they are involved in as adults. But that is the foundation, and that is the sacrifice that my wife and I have made at this stage in order to give our children and grandchildren and the generations to come behind us that type of lifestyle, to be able to continue moving on forward and not have to sacrifice some of the things that we missed out on in our late 20s, and this is probably going to take us to somewhere in our mid-30s before we truly get comfortable with where we are. So financial education coming from the parent at a young age is crucial. Learn this at home or stress over this for a majority of their earning years. And where did I really get that from? Where I got this from, I actually just watched this video. It was quite interesting. I am slowly but surely becoming more and more of a fan of kind of Dave Ramsey's teachings, and not really because I go back and forth as to where I kind of parlay with him on certain things and where I am. I'm 100% with him on the get out of debt. I'm 100% with him on not having monthly payments. I'm not really in agreements as of yet on save all the way up until you can afford the investment property, or save all the way up until you can afford the house and then pay cash for the house. I haven't gotten there just yet. But where I have gotten with it here, or what I have realized is, from my vantage point, he is the only person that I have seen in a prominent role that has been successful with money as well as has successful children with money. Everybody else that I kind of look and follow, either their children aren't old enough yet, so I can't see how that plays out. And so what I'm basically getting at is that he has followed a set of principles that he believes in, and then he has done so as well with raising his children to be successful with those principles and the money that he has grown for his family. And I believe that is so important, and that is somewhat what I'm trying to build, and that's why he is someone that I'm looking up up to regarding this growing of the next generation. And so, again, I don't want my children to be stressing in their earning years. And what I mean by that is, say they go to college and they come out with $50,000 in student loans, and they're paying that for the next 10, 15 years. Constantly getting into these car debts of, $400 to $800 to $1,000 monthly car payment. Finally get the car paid off, and then go buy a brand new car and start this journey all over again. The pressure of having these monthly payments and living kind of this check-to-check mentality is not what I want for my children. And so I really want to give them the opportunity to have a leg up once they start getting into their adult years. But again, I need to prepare them in order to make the right mental decisions for their lives and for their families. The other thing that I recall, and I'm taking on past experiences from when I was a child as well as now kind of being right at that age that I'm going to be talking to you about, is that as a child, you already look up to your parents as a superhero. You see them every day. They're the adult that they are with on a daily basis. And so you already have that leg up where they are into everything you do. And so don't miss out on that responsibility or that opportunity to really share with them and begin to mold them in a direction that is going to be successful for them. And then, finances or successful finances is intentional acts, as I have right here, over long periods of time. It's not something that happens by mistake. It is not something that is only 2 months long, that is only a year long. This is, years over years of making smart decisions with your money and avoiding the bad decisions that got you into the trouble that you were possibly in the future. And so if you could do for me, possibly in the comments below, share with me which one you believe was the most important, which one touched you in a certain way, and which one do you believe that you need to work on. And finally, as I do with all my videos, depending on which topic I'm talking about, I like to give just kind of a monthly update. And so this is Elliot's brokerage account as of April of this year, and as you can see, his account value was $1,700. Every single month we deposit $100, and folks out there, if you're new to the channel, if you don't know, if you invest $100 a month from the time they are born to the time that they are 18 years old, that's right around $80,000. When they get to 25, I want to say that's somewhere right under $200,000, and then when they get to 35, 37, I don't remember exactly, that's almost $1 million. So long story short, if you get the ball rolling for your child with $100, by the time they take it over somewhere from 21 to 25 years old, or 18 to 25 years old, once they take this over, if all they do is just continue to $100 a month, they will have $1 million in their brokerage account somewhere around the age of 35, a little bit over 35 years old. And so that's where I say, start now. $100 is doable by pretty much any family out there, and it gives them the opportunity to be successful with money and not have to stress about money because they have that large pot of money there. All of this other stuff is just kind of basic nerd stuff that I look at every single month. Value gain. What was very exciting is my son received his first dividend last quarter in March. And so that is another thing that really isn't taken into account for that. Those figures that I just gave you, he's going to be getting dividends quarter after quarter for this 18, 25-year period, 35-year period. And, of course, every single quarter, those dividends should theoretically grow quarter over quarter. So he's going to be getting more money to invest more into his brokerage account, and it's only going to help that speed up even faster. You will be seeing, not next month, but in June. Like I said, our daughter's due in June. And so I'm going to start investing $100 into her account somewhere June, July, depending on when she's born. And they're going to have both of these brokerage accounts, and both of these accounts are going to be given to our children once we believe that they are responsible enough and in the mental capacity to take on this large sum of money at whatever age they are. So take a look at the last video that I just did, as well as take a look at, I have a playlist here for other custodial topics that I have in a playlist. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching the video, and look forward to seeing you on a future one. Thank you.